You know, you talk about relentlessness, and you had a lot of that, and it might have been just disguised with passion and joy of the game, all sports and sports media. And as your career blossomed at ESPN, you start Game Day.
Yeah.
And you essentially put the train in gear, and the train just took off, man. I mean, for decades, my Saturday mornings were started with a cup of coffee and you. Thank you very much. You know?
Well,
and there was a relentlessness to that show and to get it right. And it was just that the pursuit of a perfection was amazing to see.
Yeah, that's well put. I'm not a perfectionist. I don't believe in perfectionism because I think it's a path to unhappiness, because none of us are going to be perfect. But I do believe in setting incredibly high standards for yourself and then trying to meet them. And certainly, especially when you're young, being very disappointed in yourself if you don't. And so holding yourself to that and being relentless about the job you do and being detail oriented and trying just to get it right the first time. And if you don't, the second time. I talk to young people all the time, and if you don't take responsibility for being reliable, for sweating the details, to me, you have no shot. You have no shot at anything. It's a competitive job market. Everything is competitive. If you're not exceptional in some way, and the only way that I could see about being exceptional early on, because I don't think I didn't have a sense of, oh, you're really talented in this, or, oh, this comes easier to you than others. I mean, you have a sense of it, but that's not a driving force behind your motivation. What you know you can control is your effort and your energy and your sense of responsibility for your own level of work. And if you meet that, then you can go places. And Game Day was nothing, by the way. It had been around for a couple of years. I didn't technically start it. It was on the air as a half-hour show in the mornings on Saturday, leading into like Ivy League games. No disrespect to Ivy League, but they were not heavily watched, and the show was watched by no one, and no one wanted that gig. Like the guy who had the show right before I did was basically a baseball announcer by trade, and his wife gave birth. He missed 1 week. I jumped in '89. They thought I did okay.
Wally Pipp.
Yeah. Well,
you're the Wally Pipp.
Next year I hosted it, but not because I muscled him out. He didn't want to do it. I mean, it wasn't a gig anybody wanted, Marty. And so we, for a few years, were just in the studio trying to find that audience for Game Day, and then convinced them to take it on the road for the first time in 1993 at a 1-2 college game at Notre Dame when Florida State came in there, and sort of realized that was the aha moment. That was, oh, wow. This is a real opportunity. This is different. And we knew it would be, if we get to a campus and execute the show, even though we had no clue what we were doing, that could lead to bigger things. And it did. And next year, more and more on the road, then became exclusively a show on the road on campuses, and would draw 10, 15, 20,000 people as they tried to outdo the previous campus. And it was great momentum. It was very fun. You get very few chances in life to build anything brick by brick. You know what that's like. You start out with nothing, you hang out a shingle, and you build it, and you build it. And it was a collaborative thing. There was a small core of people that were there in the first years that kept on, Lee Corso and others. But for the large part, there were some great producers. There were some great behind the scenes people. They kind of came and went because it wasn't a prime gig. And you do well, and they move you to something else. And I only did Game Day because I trusted my gut and stuck with that high school show you talked about when they wanted to move me off to something else. And I did it for 2 years, and they came to me and said, this guy's young and single. Obviously, he's going to want to leave rural Connecticut and go to LA and be the LA bureau guy for SportsCenter, which they had not had before. Cover the Lakers, cover the Dodgers and USC. And something in me said, don't do that. That doesn't feel right. You know, to go be a reporter at the other side of the continent from the network and go out and
the mothership.
And shove a microphone in an athlete's face and try to get some time with them after a game and then do a feature on, game 2 of the World Series. It sounds sexy, but it just didn't feel right. And I would say, I'll just keep doing the high school show. I'll do it another year. They were shocked. I mean, it's a risky thing.
Of course.
When you tell an employer that's got you in mind for something, no, I don't want to do that, and you're 25 and you've been there for 2 years and you're very expendable, it is a risk. I didn't even fully appreciate that at the time. Later, I saw, well, that's kind of ballsy, because they could have said, kid, I don't care what you want to do. We want you there. Game day never would have happened. College football never would have happened. If I had taken that job, I'm not there to do the fill-in. I'm not there to take over doing features on game day before I hosted it. And I'm sure not there to build it. And then probably would not have gotten into the college football booth. Maybe, but probably not.
But that foundation of that decision was rooted in following your heart, following your gut. And
I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Very, very grateful for that. That is what I tell people. You know, well-intentioned people who love you, who might know more about the world than you do, will give you advice. Doesn't mean they're right.
That's right.
It doesn't mean that they know what's right for you better than you do. And I trusted my gut a couple of different times, going to ESPN when people tell me, don't go to that. ESPN, it's a 7-year-old cable network. It's not mainstream. You're doing a high school show on tape. It's not even live TV. And advisors and professors and people who were helping me in my career at that time said, don't do that.
But it felt good.
But it felt right.
Yeah,
it just felt right. It felt fun. Yeah. Honestly, I can't tell you that I had any kind of sense ESPN was going to be the worldwide leader in anything, or it was going to lead to game day or live TV or Wimbledon. I had no clue, no plan. It just felt more fun. And honestly, I tell kids that, you know, it's okay to make choices about what, by fun, I mean inspiring, right? Challenging, you know, and not easy fun, challenging, inspiring fun.
Yeah.
And if you make choices based on that and not based on money or eyeballs or ratings, you're just so much better served in this business. I think in a lot of businesses, you know, so many, you're around young people more than I am. Fame,
Fortune,
followers, views, likes, money. You know, I got to make this money by X years, this age. I had no idea what people got paid in this business. None.
right.
I just wasn't about money, and it still never is. Yeah. I still don't make decisions. I made no decisions in my career primarily on a financial basis, and I feel lucky that I've been able to do that in recent years. It hasn't been the major factor at all. It's okay. Is it continuing to be challenging and inspiring? Is there still something fresh and new out there about this gig that keeps me going? Because now you get to the point where you don't need to work anymore, but you still love to, as long as those conditions are met, right?